Thank you for listening to the Vincent Valentine Show. This show was broadcasted live on Barcelona City FM at Craft Barcelona. You can tune into the live broadcast at 9 p.m. Central European Time on barcelonacityfm.com. Or you can watch the show live here in Barcelona. For tickets, visit coffeeshop.co/events.
You are tuned in to the Vincent Valentine Show on Barcelona City FM, broadcasting live from the heart of Barcelona with the funniest guests and a live studio audience. This is an adult show and may contain strong references to sex and drugs from the start and throughout the show. If you are easily offended, please switch off now. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Vincent Valentine Show.
Wow! Have you seen how many people are here tonight? So many people. We've filled the place, finally. It's only taken 8 episodes.
Woo! And 1 hour, it'll be empty.
Yeah, 1 hour. Well, in 1 hour, we've got stand-up comedy live.
That's true, stand-up comedy.
Yes, but you're not performing tonight, are you?
Because you said I couldn't.
I know, I'm sorry.
Gosh.
This is episode 8 of the Vincent Valentine Show. We've got 2 veterans, Jamie Lerner, which was on episode 3, and Christopher, was it episode 5? Yeah, it's your mic's off. Episode 5. Jamie.
Yeah.
Let's talk about you again.
All right.
Where are you from?
I'm from New York.
Yeah.
Hail from the big city. And I came to Barcelona because it's a lot nicer here.
So why are you leaving?
I'm hopefully coming back, fingers crossed, you can't see on the radio. But I hope to come back. I'm supposed to leave sometime at the end of this month, go renew the visa, because that's a whole thing Americans have to deal with.
Oh, that's why you're leaving?
Yeah, that's why.
Because you're going to be illegal.
Because I'm going to be illegal. And I mean, it's not like I don't do other illegal things, but in this case...
Elaborate. What type of illegal things do you do?
Just like I'm a crazy graffiti artist. I like always park in the wrong parking spots.
And you like getting rimmed.
And I like getting rimmed.
Yeah. Good times.
Good
so,
times.
Jamie was on episode 3 with a guy called Matthew Murta.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of broke up on the radio.
You did.
Live. And
it's Vinny's fault.
It's my fault. I broke him up on the radio. He's going to be performing later tonight.
He is. He's a funny guy.
You're going to love him. You're going to love him. You've hit it quite big in Barcelona, haven't you, recently?
Yeah, I'm like basically famous.
Yes.
No, I'm doing a musical called Alice in Wonderland. You may have heard of the story. Yeah, we started rehearsing in January. We've been performing for about 2 weeks now. And we decided to extend another week because ticket sales were going so well. So we are performing at Teatre Gaudi Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday for the next 2 weekends. You can find more information at teatregaudi.es.
.es, not .com. But you're playing Alice.
Just Google Teatre Gaudi.
You're playing Alice.
I am. I'm playing Alice.
You're the main one, and your poster was behind the bus.
Yeah, so we have posters on a bus. We have posters on buildings, apparently. People keep texting me. They're like, I saw you on a bus. I'm like, I wasn't on a bus today.
Yeah. It's going to be good. But today you're going to be giving 2 tickets away worth €48 live on the radio.
Live on the radio. 2 tickets for tomorrow night's show at Teatre Gaudi at 9:30 p.m. So, if you would like to win 2 tickets to Alice in Wonderland, tell me.
You've not rehearsed this, have you?
No. I have rehearsed Alice in Wonderland, though, just so you know. I know all my lines there. So, if you know the name of the girl that Alice in Wonderland is based off of, her full name, and her birthday.
There's no internet
tickets.
down here, by the way.
All right.
So
after
you
the
can't
break.
check.
We'll come back after the break.
You have to go outside. After the break.
After the break. If anyone knows right now, does anyone in the audience know?
Everyone's quiet.
Is there a way to contact radio, for radio people to contact us if you're listening in? Facebook Messenger.
Facebook Messenger. Vincent Valentine Show. Message me. But we're going to have a break anyway at the halfway time. So if you know the answer, go and speak to Jamie. And you may win some tickets. And we might get you on the stage tonight live.
Yeah, we've had a few good reviews too on Metropolitan, on El Nacional. So you don't want to miss it. Time Out.
Yeah, we're on timeout, by the way.
Vincent Valentine Show is on timeout.
We hit timeout yesterday. We're being featured next week, so we should be super busy from next week. It's going to be awesome.
Awesome.
It's going to be great. Last week, I've got a bit of a confession.
What?
Do you know, like I said, you were the first Jew to be on the radio. We had our first male Jew last week. Do we have any Jewish people in the house? One Jew. Oh, sorry. One Jewess. Happy.
Jewess.
Where's your girls? Oh, okay. Yeah, she's got them.
We're also from the same area, so.
Oh, you're from New York?
Yeah.
Nice. I like your Jewish friends.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Them Jews.
Awesome. So you're not mad at me for having another Jew appear?
I was a little mad at first, but I learned to forgive.
Happy days. So apart from acting,
yeah,
you're a musician.
Yeah, slightly.
What do you play?
Well, I started with piano when I was about 6, and now I picked up the ukulele because I wanted to be able to transport my instrument and sing for people. So naturally, I thought guitar, and my hands are very small, and I couldn't play the F chord, so I went to ukulele.
Nice.
Yeah,
and
that's what I do.
You performed for some of my comedy shows in the past as well.
I have, and I was inspired to write some comedy music, and that's become a thing that I really enjoy doing, is writing music for comedy. So
yeah, and tonight you're going to be performing the same comedy.
I am. My one-hit wonder.
It's going to be brilliant.
I hope so.
Afterwards, 10:15, after the Vincent Valentine Show, we've got stand-up comedy live.
Yeah, don't miss it.
So don't miss it. See it on iTunes as well.
Oh, yeah.
Right, our second guest tonight. Woo! He's famous for climbing trees.
Thank you, Vincent.
And looking like a ginger Jesus. Any Jesus?
Thank you. We've got some fans out here tonight. Thank you very much.
Okay. Oh,
yeah.
Wait.
The radio is going to love this. You know, they're really going to understand what's going on right now.
Right, we had one Jewess say, yay! And the whole room had ejaculated almost when we said Jesus.
I think that's a picture that perhaps didn't need to be painted.
Okay.
But I mean, I've got a bit of a problem with this, to be honest, because if you look at the propaganda for this show, it says like Jamie Lerner, amazing like actress, amazing musician, amazing comic, and I'm all of those things as well. Yeah. And then what did you put for me? Ginger Jesus. And I'm not ginger. Like, no, I'm not ginger.
I've not seen you act.
You've not seen me act? The whole world's a stage, mate. I'm always acting.
Okay. And I've not seen you play a musical instrument.
What? Maybe you haven't, actually. I play the piano and guitar very well. Yes.
Okay, so next time you're on the radio, I would say not a ginger Jesus,
well, you can
musician,
okay.
Comedian.
People shout Jesus at me on the street now. That's a thing that happens. Yeah, I was on a run the other day. I almost bashed into someone, and he was like, "Oh, Jesus Christ." Yeah, it was great. It was really good. No, it's not even a joke. That actually happened. Yeah.
So how long have you been doing comedy for?
Not very long. I've been doing comedy for about 3 months, I think.
Ooh.
Very new to comedy.
And who discovered you?
Vincent Valentine, a man of questionable morals and strange appearance, discovered me. Yes, it was him. I wouldn't say discovered. It was more he drunkenly invited me to do comedy in a bar, and I drunkenly said yes. And my God, it was good.
You're doing great at the moment as well.
Yeah. Has anyone here been to any comedy shows? Are you a comedy audience as well? Or just a radio audience? Yeah? Yeah, thank you very much for coming to our shows. Really appreciate that.
Seriously? Sorry, I got distracted by that lie.
Okay.
Has anyone been to old Pumpage shows? Okay, cool. The death of Pumpage is resurrecting soon, by the way.
Oh, that's good.
I will let you know in a few weeks. So apart from climbing trees, looking like Ginger Jesus, what have you been doing since the last radio show?
Oh, goodness me, I've not done anything. I wish I could say something interesting. Maybe I should make something up very quickly. No, I've just been working and sleeping, if I'm honest. It's an exciting life, you know.
Aren't you a school teacher as well?
Oh, I do so much, mate. Actually, I'm writing a second edition to my book, Rules of Thumb, How to Hitchhike and Live on the Road, something that I strongly encourage you do.
Explain about your first book that you...
Okay, so I spent 4 years hitchhiking around America and Europe. I covered like 13,000 kilometers or something. It's all very fun. And I wrote a book about it, or not about it, because that's a bit egotistical. I wrote a book explaining how to do it. So if you're interested in hitchhiking, then you can learn how to do it. And it covers everything, like how to make money, how to, how to find a place to sleep, basically how to be very uncomfortable for a very small reward of not paying for transport.
So last time you travelled around the world, you didn't spend a penny, did you? Or?
No, of course I spent money, but much less money than I spend in a normal life.
So with hitchhiking, did you have to like cover your face? Just like so you look like a woman?
So I look like a woman?
Because if you think about it, hitchhikers, if I was driving a car and I saw some big guy with a beard, I'd be like, yeah, whatever. And if I saw you from behind, I'd be,
Well, okay, that's from a guy's perspective, but now imagine being a woman and driving along and seeing me on the side of the road.
True.
Yeah, who knows?
She could be a lesbian.
Yeah. Well, actually, I travelled... I travelled with two girls, and they were quite beautiful. So if nobody stopped for us, I would just go into the bushes for a few minutes, and then I'd come back out again when the car stopped.
So you're announcing that you had a threesome in the bush?
Well, that's a different story, but yeah, well, who knows?
Guys, have you ever been on Tinder?
I have. I've experimented in the ways of Tinder. I've gone on 2 Tinder dates in my life.
Oh, that is experimenting.
Yeah, experiment. But the thing is, like, I don't like the idea of like talking to people online before I meet them, because I feel like it's like a waste of time, because all you know is your vibes in person, right? Like, Chris and I have like great person vibes, but I don't know how he would deal on Tinder. Like, maybe he would be like, so what'd you do today? And I'd be like, I went to school. And he'd be like, cool. And I'd be like, this is fucking boring. Like,
so you one of these girls where, don't message me, sit on my face?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah,
okay.
That's what I'm like. I'm literally like, if a guy starts talking to me, I'm like, so ask me out. And he's like, what? And I'm like, I'm just not going to waste time. Like, just ask me out.
Give me the cock,
yeah.
basically.
Yeah, give me the cock.
You're a nice type of girl, aren't you?
Thank you.
Beautiful.
I try.
You try very hard. So you've had 2 Tinder dates.
Yeah.
Did you get penetrated?
No.
Twice? No, you didn't.
No.
Is your mum listening?
No, but she already listened to the other episode. I don't think she could hear anything possibly worse. She listens to the other episode in which Vinny was like, what was it like being rimmed? And I'm like, oh my God, what? But like, it happened.
But
and
the funny thing is, with that episode, we're streaming on I was going to say YouPorn and YouTube.
It might as well be YouPorn.
We're streaming on YouTube. I made up a question between her and Matt, and it was like, why did you surprise Rim at that time? And you were like, oh my God. And I made up the question.
Yeah, he made it up. He thought it was fake.
But
and
it was
I
true.
Like, I never told him that.
It was turned out to be true because when we went to a break, you came up to me in front of this camera here, which is live, and went, how did you know that I got rimmed? It's like, carry on talking. The whole world's listening. And you actually admitted to 15,000 listeners
well,
that you got rimmed.
My mom is the top listener of that episode.
She's wondering, she's Googling now, what is rimming?
I'm sure she is.
Does anyone not know what rimming means? Put your hand up. Yeah, there's one guy at the back.
Just picture, like, you know when, like, your beer bottle gets, like, foam on the top and you gotta, like, lick it off?
Oh, what brown foam?
Well, there's no foam, and the hole is a butthole.
How does it feel to be the only man in the room that doesn't know what rimming is?
I feel like I'm the only honest man.
He feels like he's the only honest man in the room, radio listeners. He's already funnier than we are.
So, your experience with Tinder?
My experience with Tinder, I'm probably going to lose a lot of friends here. I'm very robotic. I do the same thing every time, basically. This is, maybe you'll recognize this. Basically, step 1, swipe right for everyone. Sorry, girls. Yeah. The reason for this is because, like, as a girl, you get a match every time, right? Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't know anything.
Yeah,
you've learned
true.
nothing.
True.
Whereas for me, if I get a swipe, hardly anyone swipes me, so I know they're interested or they're not good at operating their mobile phone. Then first message is simply their name with an exclamation mark. This sounds simple, but actually there's autocorrect often makes that quite difficult. And especially in, a European country, sometimes, autocorrects and I don't notice, and then I've just misspelled their name. It's not a good start. Yeah, and then I say one of two messages. If they look like they've ever travelled, which almost everyone on Tinder does, I say, you look like you like to travel. It's pretty good. If they don't look like they like to travel, I say, you look like you're living an interesting life. Even though they don't look like they're living an interesting life at all, yeah. And then normally they send back like, ha ha ha, yes, I love to travel, or no, I'm not living an interesting life. And yeah, and then I just sort of like, I talk for 3 more messages. It doesn't matter what they are, like getting to know you, not creepy, just like, oh, you know, like hello, blah. And then I say, you seem cool, let's meet for a drink. And then I take them to this bar called the Cat Bar. It's great, piano bar.
Oh, I just passed it.
Yeah, I love it. It's really good vegan food. If you go to the Cat Bar, you might see me on a Tinder date there. Yeah. I take them to the Cat Bar, I have one drink, I talk politely for an hour, and then I take them to the Arc de Triomphe, and I try and kiss them.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my Tinder
you got
routine.
It done.
Yeah, do it every
You know
time.
how to do it.
But with my experience, I just copied and pasted a message.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, hi, do you like people?
Do you like people? Do you like things?
Yeah.
Me too.
I'm terrible when it comes down to chatting up ladies.
Yeah, I mean...
Then you just do what I do, and you just say, like, ask me out now, or...
You have a vagina. I can't go to a girl and go, do you want cock?
No, you
Yeah,
could.
it doesn't work that way.
You could literally, Vinny, you just go like, hey, you look really cool.
This
I'd
is
like
my
to...
Tinder message.
Yeah, you look cool. Let's hang out. Yeah,
Like,
that's
short
Job
and
done.
sweet.
Job done, yeah.
Yeah.
You've got a girlfriend though, Vinny.
I know
Why
I
are you
am.
asking
Yeah,
these
you don't
questions?
even
You
have
seem
to
very
worry.
interested in our sexual
No,
lives.
I'm giving an insight to my past life as being single.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Very
Happy
good.
days. So, talking about travelling,
Mm-hmm.
you had something happen to you in Sweden, didn't you?
Depends. Lots of things happen to me in Sweden. Which one?
You tell me.
I can't remember which story we're talking about. It just says Sweden, so that's very helpful. Yeah, okay, but, well, if we're talking about sex already, let's talk about California.
Ooh.
California, a place where, and I want to be very respectful here because they opened my eyes and they are lovely people, a place where I lived in a community that was based around the female orgasm. Yeah, crazy, hey? There's actually people who in their lives have decided that the most important thing is the female orgasm, and they're going to do it every day, and they're going to educate other people for a price.
So where is this?
The location can never be revealed.
It's in a bush in California somewhere.
Actually, it's in a ravine. It's in a ravine, yeah.
Ooh.
And it's really far away from anything. You're sort of in the wilderness. And you go there and you learn about the ways of the female orgasm. And the male
Wow.
orgasm, too.
So you know how to make a woman squirt.
They tried their best to teach me, but I was not a very good student.
Were you like this going?
I was like, what is this? This is ridiculous. No, it was really interesting. They did educate me. We did a sort of a trade. I taught them my skills. They taught me their skills. I won't tell you which skills we traded. And and it was very interesting because like a lot of the ways that we think about orgasm in the mainstream is not helpful to actually achieving orgasm for a woman or for a man. And it was quite difficult in many ways because I'm a British person. We don't talk about these things at all.
Or anything.
Or anything. And, I was having to reveal the sort of the darkest parts of my brain. But once I had revealed them, my God, extreme pleasure was available.
No, so you exchange this for sex, basically?
I'm answering that question later. No, actually, I exchanged it for web design. I built them a website, which, if you would like to go and see and learn about the female orgasm, it does cost money, is welcomed.com.
Welcomed. How is comed spelled?
It's spelt like the past of welcome.
Oh, okay.
But obviously you're meant to hear welcomed.
All right.
Yeah. It's
Is that,
a terrible
is that
website.
real? Is that real?
That's real, yeah.
So
yeah.
you built
I
their
lived with them.
website?
I built their website. Well, I gave them the beginnings of a website, and they finished building it. So it's not totally mine. I can't take responsibility for it. But yeah, that's what we did. I made them a website, and they sort of taught me a little bit of what they knew.
Cool.
Yeah.
What I've noticed whenever I've been to America is the way that Americans perceive us British people.
Yeah. I mean, we
why
think,
is that?
I mean, everything is because of the media. But no, we think that British people are, I guess I have a skewed view because I've lived in London. But I think Americans as a whole are like, British people are really polite, they're really mature, they're really sophisticated.
Mature.
Yeah, right? I don't personally think that. I know you, Vinny. But yeah, that would definitely be the point of view of Americans is like, oh, like the English, they drink tea at tea time. And
yeah, we like our tea, but I drink a pint of tea. No, seriously, I do. I've got a pint, but I put 2 tea bags, bit of milk, boil it, and it's like, yeah, this is hardcore. This is hardcore British.
So that's like Manchester British.
Yeah, Manchester, yeah. Northern Manchester.
No, all Americans know is London. Like, you say anything else in England, they're like, what? They don't know.
Right, Dave Celestian, he's going to be hosting Stand Up Comedy Live later on. He's a good friend of mine. He still does not understand me. He's from Florida. When I speak to him, he repeats what I say to him.
Yeah, Floridians don't understand anything, though.
Is that true? So we got anyone from Florida? No. I
have friends from Florida here tonight. They're not. They didn't grow up there though, so it's not an insult to them.
So is like Florida like trailer trash or something like?
They just told me they have White Trash Wednesdays in Florida, so
that's normal, Lennon.
It's a normal thing.
Okay. Because when I moved to America for 2 months on business,
Where?
It was in Atlanta, and there was no British people there. It was in a place called Athens, and and I was in nightclubs, and they were like, as soon as I opened my mouth, they were like, "Wow, British person," and they were practically sucking me off. It was just because of that.
Oh my God. When I first went to London, every guy I met, I was like, oh my God, suck my dick. And like.
So you had like cum showers every day in London?
Everywhere. Because there's something about the British accent that we're like, oh my God, he's like a sophisticated gentleman.
I think it's more of Christopher's accent than my scary Mancunian.
It's true. Sophisticated gentleman.
I spent 2 years in America, and my God, was it good. It was amazing. Like, it felt like what it would be like to be a very attractive girl. Like, everyone just treated you with that little bit more respect. And it was to the point where I would just walk around and loudly say something British. You know, like, oh, what a lovely day it is today, toodly pip. And then if they didn't hear me, I'd go a little bit Cockney, like, all right there, my darling. And just like go through the accents, which I'm terrible at, until they recognised me as English. And what it destroyed whatever charisma I had before was totally lost. Like, I can really understand why very beautiful women, like this one, have no personality, not like this one. Because the world just validates everything you do or say, you know? Like, oh, I just shat in the corner. Oh, that's so good. Oh, that's so great. Can you do it in the other corner, maybe? Just talk to me a little bit longer. And so, yeah, because you're beautiful, yeah, or beautiful voice. And then I went back to England, and I'd be like, oh, hello there. And they'd be like, hello. I'd be like, why aren't they laughing? Oh, my God. What do I say now?
Oh, my God.
This is a bloody disaster.
Yeah. Well, the weird thing is when I went to London, the first man I made out with in a bar, his name was Jack, which is very British, I think. And he was like, say tomato. And I was like, tomato. And he was like, say tomato. And I was like, tomato. I don't get it. What the fuck? He was like, I love your American accent. I was like so confused because American accents suck and British accents are like goddesses.
But do you know what the best thing is when an American girl does the British accent? I love it. Can you say, I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts?
I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts.
That was okay, yeah. That was
no,
very good.
It wasn't.
Damn.
No, but it's the opposite way around in Europe, the way we see Americans.
Very desirable.
Really?
Yeah. What do we see as Americans in Europe?
I don't know. I think we're just impressed that an American has managed to get to Europe. It's not an easy thing. Not an easy thing.
They must be a little smart to get over here.
The stereotype for American from England is usually fat and stupid.
Well, the interesting thing about Americans is like the default European like body shape is just kind of like skinny or like just a little fat. Whereas in America, like it seems like you have very fat people. But if you're not fat, then you're extremely muscular. So you kind of like it kind of evens out. You know, if you averaged us out, we'd be the same. That's my theory.
I'm acting for the webcam. Radio, I'm making muscles.
She's making muscles, guys.
You know something that us guys say? We're making muscles.
Are we making muscles later?
Yeah.
Really?
Is that what you...
I don't like seafood.
Oh no.
No, I don't. Let's not go into this though. Come on. What's the next thing on your list of notes?
Sweden.
Oh, back to Sweden.
Sweden.
Okay, well, Sweden. What happened in Sweden? I lived in another commune. This one was based around drumming, African drumming.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Sounds incredible.
Yeah, it was quite good. What happened in this place? Well, basically, the most interesting story is this guy. He was a Swedish guy. And he looked like a Swedish guy, which is like me, for those of you in the room. And he went to Africa to learn African drumming. And he was rejected by all of the drummers in Africa because he was, he didn't have the heritage. It's part of their culture and all that kind of jazz. I thought drumming was just hitting something repeatedly. It turns out there's a lot more to that.
It's in your wrist action, isn't it? It's
it's in the wrist, but there's all these different beats and they all have a meaning and they come from different parts of Africa and all this. Anyway, so he was like, he apprenticed himself to one of these African drummers for like 3 years. And they didn't let him learn anything. He was just like helping out around the house. It just seems like an amazing story to me. And then he started to drum a little bit more. And they did like a drumming trance. I assume there was some kind of drugs involved. I don't know. But they basically drummed for 3 days until the blood vessels in his fingertips burst.
Oh my God.
And an infection went to his kidneys and he almost died from drumming.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's like whiplash.
It's crazy, yeah. And then they were like, okay, you really want to learn how to drum, we guess, so we'll teach you. And he learned.
Do you know how to
Wow.
use any percussion instruments?
I do actually.
Yeah.
Oh, really? You're a drummer?
Yeah, well, my little brother's a drummer. Hey, Rye, if you're listening.
Where is he?
He's in New York.
He's very
in New
little.
York. He's a drummer, though, and so he taught me how to do a rock beat, like a simple rock beat, and a little more complex rock beat, and a paradiddle for any of you drummers.
Paradiddle.
You know a paradiddle?
No, I've got no idea.
So
I
it's
just hit drums.
Paradiddle.
Cool.
It's pretty
cool.
easy. Anyone
That's
can do
very cool.
it. But drumming is cool. That's
Yeah, I
pretty
love it.
cool.
After work every day, there was about 20 drums. We'd all sit around and have a little bit of a drum circle. And we had one of the best African drummers in the world called Famadou. And he'd been drumming since 8. Like, he'd been
Oh my
taken from his
God.
family at 8 years old in order to learn how to drum. He was incredible.
Oh my God.
And I've actually met 2 of the best African drummers in the world. The other one I met in Boulder, Colorado. He drove me home in a taxi. And he was like, oh yeah, I'm a drummer. I was like, who do you drum with? And he was like, oh, the Grateful Dead. And I was like, yeah, right. And then he gave me his business
What?
cards. Yeah, I even had a drum in my house. I was like, come and do some drumming. He was like, no, I'm working. And I gave him his business card. I looked him up, and he did actually drum with the Grateful Dead.
That's incredible.
Yeah, he'd been taken from Africa to America to work as like the head of music or drumming music, percussive music, I don't know, in like Harvard and Yale and Brown University. And then during like the half term, he just drove a taxi in Boulder, Colorado. Fantastic,
Wow.
fantastic
Good
way
way
of
to
living
make a
life.
living.
Good way to live.
Yeah, no, very impressive.
So, Sweden.
Oh, there's so many stories about Sweden. My God, they just go on and on.
Nah. Cookie show.
Cookie show.
I'm going to be doing a new show next Tuesday.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be this, but with me being extremely stoned on cookies. And we're interviewing Jamie. She's going to get stoned.
I've never had an edible before.
Oh, you're going to be... your head's going to explode on the radio.
Oh, good. You guys are going to hear it. All of a sudden, we'll be talking, and then you'll just hear like a...
No.
I hope that made a gross sound on the radio.
Literally, it's going to be me interviewing. We've got 2 guests, and the other lady who's going to be co-hosting with me is Melissa Paul.
Yeah.
She was here last week.
So excited to meet
She's
her.
a veteran of comedy. She's been doing professional stand-up for 10 years. She's been on CSI Miami,
That's amazing.
Jimmy Kimmel Live, Mad TV.
What's she
She's
doing
quite
here?
famous. She had a nervous breakdown.
Oh.
It's a true story.
You say it with a smile, Vinny.
I'm not smiling. She did actually have I asked her this. Why didn't you carry on? She went, the guys in the suits pushed me too far.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I broke down before any of the guys in the suits, so...
Yeah, it's not good at all. So, no, we're going to be doing that next week. She's not going to
Cool.
get stoned.
Great.
She's going to be normal. She's going to be one telling me off when I start screaming,
Super.
grabbing the
Super.
ceiling and controlling us. And the 4th guest is going to be the owner of HQ.
No way.
He's one of the guys topping the scene over there. By the way, it's perfectly legal in Spain to
Yeah.
smoke. It's a bit like Amsterdam. You need to be in a private club. Yeah, we're not talking illegal stuff here right now.
Yeah.
But it's going to be next Tuesday. Next Tuesday.
Yeah.
We're going to end there for the first break.
Sweet.
The first group we're going to play tonight is called the Plague Doctors, and they're from Manchester. They actually played for my leaving party coming to Spain.
Wow, lovely.
7 years ago. Really good friends of mine who started off. I used to work with two of them. And it's John Hodgson, Paul Thompson, and Paul Harvey. And they've been doing this for 7 years, and it's pretty good music. So listen and enjoy. That was We Killed Everyone at Radio 1. Good name and song.
That's a fantastic name for a radio.
Yeah.
Watch out, the live stream is now streaming the audience.
It should be on us.
And we're the stars of the show. And don't you forget it.
There we go. We're back to normal again now.
Thank you.
So we had a little break. We've got another 25 minutes. And then straight after here, we have Stand-Up Comedy Live.
Woo!
Which we've got 6 comics. You're going to perform for us, Jamie?
I am. My first time on Stand-Up Comedy Live.
Ooh. And you're going to be on iTunes.
Yeah.
You're going to be on Google Play.
Should I copyright my song?
No, because that means I'll have to pay for you. And I don't want to pay.
No one steal it.
No, it's fine. It's all about publicity.
It's fine.
Because you're leaving us. That's why. It's a good way to leave
I am.
Barcelona.
I'm so sad about it.
So you're moving back to Barcelona, New York?
I don't know yet. I'm waiting to hear about a couple things. I learned here in Barcelona that I love doing this comedy thing, this music writing, acting thing, and I want to do it more. And so wherever I can do it, that's where I'm going to be. So if I can do it here in Barcelona, then great. If I can do it in New York, that's pretty cool. So we're going to just play it by ear.
So there's no work waiting for you back in New York?
Nope.
Okay.
So if anyone in New York is listening and has a job for a short Jewish gal
who likes Tinder?
No, I deleted it.
Oh, okay. So you just go to random people in the street now
Exactly.
and go,
It's much
do you wanna
easier.
fuck?
I'll
Yeah,
just be
yeah.
like, vibes? No, not there. Vibes? No.
But in all seriousness, if you listen to this on iTunes and Google Play, go to the description and you'll get the direct link to Jamie's Facebook.
Yes.
So if you got any work in New York,
Yes.
not that type of work, but comedy work,
Yeah.
send her a
comedy work.
message.
Yeah,
But-
send me
but
a...
After you're in New York, you're gonna be. You have to be there 3 months, is it, or 6
So
months?
I gotta go back, basically however long it takes to resort the visa, that's how long I have to be back for. And then if work finds me in New York, then I'll stay there. But if not, then I'm gonna come back here because it's cheaper to live here. I love this city, I love the people, they're damn sexy, so.
Amen.
She's talking about Jesus
Talk
over
about
there.
Chris Drifter, talk about Chris Drifter.
And all these
Words.
beautiful people in the room.
And
as
all the
well.
beautiful people
My
in the
God,
audience.
I'm surrounded by beauty. Such visions of beauty.
Why are you looking at me when you say that?
Because your eyes are so beautiful.
Actually, we did kiss once.
Oh, not this again. If you want to hear about mine and Vinny's kiss, go to episode 4 of the Vincent Valentine Show. It is
That's
described
where I
in
heard
detail.
about it.
Yeah.
That was not so good times, because I've never had to kiss a dude before on a
Well, you know
on a
what?
bet.
You should always be open-minded / open-mouthed, Vinny.
It's kind of that. There was no tongues, I don't think.
That's
There
how you
was no
give a
tongue.
blowjob too. Oh, la, la, la.
That's how you give blowjobs.
Yeah, you got to put your lips over
That's
your
like a
cheek.
polite blowjob. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
No teeth. That's great.
Grandma
Thank you. We
blowjobs.
appreciate that. Yeah.
I don't like it. I really don't like it. So, one of the reasons why I got you on the radio is because on episode 3, we have Matt Murta. Where is he?
He's getting me a cup of wine.
He's upstairs. Jamie and Matt kind of broke up 2 days before coming on radio. I
Yeah.
pranked him on the radio, asked him loads of insensitive questions.
Yeah.
And you've not seen him since, have you, really?
No, I saw him. Well, he went to Colombia for a while, so that I saw him last week. We tried to find a time to hang out again. Didn't go so well, and
So there's not been any pumpage?
bumping and screwing, pumpage.
No.
No.
So
It's just we had great vibes, but didn't communicate so well. He's not even here.
he's not even here. You can
I'm
talk
saying
about
my thing. I'm giving my
Open your heart
soul. I'm opening
to-
my heart to him. We have really good vibes, but had trouble when it came down to communication, and that was not one of the problems.
No, the sex was good.
Sex is
Yeah.
great. Sex
So
is
I
great.
heard.
But I really wanted it to work, but not at the expense of me feeling.
Should we pull
Second
a prank on
rate.
him? Because when he comes down the stairs, should we all boo him?
No.
Should we do it?
No, don't do
Should we
it. He's a lovely
Right.
man. He's
a
very
lovely guy,
nice.
He's
but
a
let's
good
boo
guy.
him.
He's a
Let's
good
just give him
guy.
really. He's a good guy, but let's boo him just to
Why
fuck
do you
with
want
him.
to hurt his feelings, Vincent?
Because-
You're not a kind man.
Yeah, true.
I think it'll make a lot of things worse. So I think we should just.
Should we
Let's
just
cheer.
move on?
Let's be like, you're
Okay.
the best.
Yeah.
But not. He's not here yet.
Okay, well, let's
later.
cheer.
I
in
think he's
sec.
actually outside for a cigarette, then getting me wine, and then coming down.
But wasn't this this running problem that you had? Is that every time you performed, he wasn't watching you, but you were watching him?
No. That was just once. No, he's just really bad at when it's time to hang out. He'll think he said that he couldn't, and then he didn't. So I felt like I was being stood up. He felt like he was doing something normal, and in the end, I was like, it's not gonna work if I'm feeling disrespected.
Oh.
Ladies, no matter how much you like him, don't let them disrespect you. No, because a year ago,
Amen.
I would have been like, oh, okay, sure. But, I don't want to feel shitty, so.
Actually, I think this is one of the major problems of dating in your 20s.
Yeah.
Which is I'm naturally someone who really wants to spend time and be friends and communicate. But if you do that, you are needy as a man. And so I deliberately withhold those things,
Well, it's
which
the
is a
same
bit
as a
like
woman.
mind games. Yeah, I guess. But it's kind of like, this sounds a little bit sexist and insensitive, and I don't mean it that way. But in my experience, you always need to be just that little bit less invested than the girl. And it's like two people walking on a seesaw towards each other, bit by
Yeah.
bit. And I just think, why don't you just jump into each other's arms and fuck?
God, I
on
love
that
that
seesaw.
imagery. I love the imagery.
That's how I feel about life. But you can't do it. You can't do it. That's called rape.
You can't say that word.
Oh, really? Oh,
It's
God.
not allowed on the radio.
That's called grapes.
Grape.
Grapes.
Grape.
Yep.
What does grape mean?
Grape is a fruit that is often made into wine.
No, it means good rape.
Oh, God.
Oh, no. Vinny.
I'm
I
sorry.
apologise to all of our listeners and everyone in the room.
So you recommend not to grape people?
That is something I very much recommend. Consensual. There should be consent in all relationships, sexual or none.
Exactly. Barcelona City FM does not condone rape or grape in any fashion. We just need to clear that up.
Good.
I do like grapes, though.
What?
I like grapes.
Grapes.
Grapes
You know-
in the fruit or the...
Seedless grapes.
Oh,
That makes
okay.
you like basically Catalan.
Really?
Yeah, because on New Year's they like stuff their face with grapes.
Yes, that's a wonderful tradition that I love to join in with.
So in Spain in New Year's, Spanish people like to go out on grape.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not good.
No.
Grape isn't a verb, Vinny. That's not the appropriate use of that word. It's a noun.
Vinny's using his imagination.
Yeah, I'm all like, whoa. Yeah,
Let's move on from grapes.
Let's move on anyway before
Yep.
we get fired.
Yeah, a dead bird. Why have you written dead bird?
Because I could not fit everything that you said to me.
Okay, no birds were dead in this story. No birds. Shall we bring this up more organically? Can someone mention a bird in an organic way?
Yeah.
Go on. Yeah.
Today I was grading papers and I had to use a mnemonic to remember the letters. And the mnemonic was, girls have early dead birds.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's really interesting because it's not a dead bird, but I raised a bird from near death. Yeah, I did do this.
I didn't read it correctly.
You didn't read the notes that I sent you. Okay, so here we are, a younger version of me, not quite as beautiful, slightly shorter hair. And I was living in the woods with some friends of mine. And while we were living in the woods, this was in Canterbury, there was this friar who would come to us and talk to us about religion. But he was very nice, and he was not your normal kind of friar. He was Irish, he was an ex-biker gang friar. He looked like he'd killed people. And he was really nice. His name was Frère Jacques, which was great to begin with. And yeah, he didn't bring us like any Bibles or anything like this. He brought us a book which was about a man who took so much LSD he believed he was a goat. And it was an amazing book. I really enjoyed it. Anyway, so I met this friar, became his friend, living in the woods. Realized that living in the woods is not a sustainable plan if you're in your teens. And I went home. On my way home, I saw this little bird, and it was in the street, dying, wet, it was raining. My God, I thought, I can make the last hours of this bird's life comfortable. That was my only plan, to make a comfortable death for the bird. And I took it, I put it in a little shoebox, I dried it off, and then it lived, annoyingly. Because then I had to feed it. I had to feed it 14 hours a day, every half an hour.
Oh my God.
And it was always chirping. I tried to carry it around on my shoulder, but it was too small.
Like a pirate.
Yeah, exactly. I thought, at least I'll be like a pirate, but I wasn't. Because the wind was too much for it. It would stand on my neck and shit down the back of my shirt.
No.
And, everything was covered in bird shit in my house.
Did you have to vomit in its mouth or anything?
No, what I did have to do, I had to make like a mother bird sound. So I fed it cat food, and I would take a toothpick and take a bit of cat food, and I'd be like, and then it would open its mouth, and I'd feed it, and I'd keep feeding it. I'd just keep going.
That sounds like masturbation, doesn't it?
Well, to me, that's a mother bird sound, okay, Vinny? I don't know what sounds you make when you masturbate.
So when you feed a bird, you go...
No, I went... It's a totally different sound. I can't make it very well. Okay, I'm not a good mother bird. Anyway, so I would feed the bird, it lived, it was great. And then, of course, as birds do, it began to learn to fly. In my head, I taught it to fly. I built little towers of books and chairs and things, and I would make the mother bird sound, which goes like this. And it would fly towards me bit by bit. And then it got better and better at flying, and it was sort of flying along after me when I went walking. So it never went on my shoulder, but it did fly after me. Aww. Anyway, so my plan was to go back to the woods with Etienne, that was the name I gave it, and put Etienne up in the trees, and then the friar would come, and then I'd be sitting and talking with the friar. The friars, obviously, their big guy is Francis d'Assisi, who spoke to the animals. And I would be like, so, Frère Jacques, I learned some things since we were away. And then I'd raise my finger and make the mother bird sound, and then Etienne would fly onto my finger and I'd give it to the friar.
So you basically sound like you were masturbating to get your
If
bird
the
to come
bird
to you.
hadn't flown to me, it would have been very awkward with Frere Jacques at that point. But it never happened. It never happened. I think he might have been fired for giving books about LSD to young children in the woods.
Have you ever tried LSD?
Yeah, on the radio.
Really?
The answer is no.
Ah,
So that's good, isn't it?
I've never
Be
tried
responsible.
I have not either.
I've heard about a friend who once tried LSD, and it's very interesting, actually. It's a really interesting thing. They told me that it can, like, your sense of time changes a lot. Well, I've been talking quite a lot, actually. I'd like to give Jamie a chance. But,
I love your stories.
but yeah, it ended up with my friend in a crowd of thousands, like, lying on the ground, understanding that everyone would die in the next 100 years, at least. So my friend didn't have such a good time.
It's truthful, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's factually correct.
Yeah. I mean, everyone is
You're
going to die.
all going to die, and everything you've ever worked for will be forgotten. The time scale for that? 150 years, max.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're famous.
If you're famous. Unless you're Shakespeare.
Unless you're Shakespeare.
Yeah, talk about Shakespeare. Do we have any English people in the house?
Woo!
English.
Aren't you Jewish?
No.
No, it's a different... okay.
She's Georgia.
Georgia. Oh,
But
why,
I mean,
what?
no, that's not her name.
Oh, okay. Any English?
Woo!
No English people? No, you're from Catalan.
incorrect.
Right, the reason why I'm saying this is I do my first ever tour with the Vincent Valentine Show in Manchester on the 9th of June
Yes.
to 150 people. I've yet to find people to interview because I'm shitting myself right now because the venue's asked me to get famous people.
Oh.
And I'm like...
Get Shakespeare. He's very famous.
See, yeah, exactly. So I'm messaging people from like Coronation Street, soaps, comedians, big comedians in Manchester. I'm dreading it in a weird way because it's like, if I get like Peter Kay as a guest, and it's like, what do I ask this guy? No, I mean, it's
You just ask him the same shit you asked
do you
us, buddy.
masturbate?
Exactly.
Do you penetrate? Do you like Tinder? No, I mean,
Yeah, I think
Exactly.
this is your style of interview, you know, and I don't think you should abandon it just because the people change.
Yeah.
You know?
No,
I think
yeah,
you've got to be
you
true
be
to
you.
yourself. Yeah, be true to
I've
yourself.
already got one guy already. He's interested. I just need to find one more person. But it should be great. And we've got 6 comics, big comics in Manchester.
It's amazing.
So it's going to be great. Did you say you might be coming over?
Maybe.
Maybe. You might see Jamie on 9th of June in Manchester. Yeah.
I'm working on it.
You're working on that. But straight after this show, we've got Stand Up Comedy Live.
Oh, yeah.
And Jamie's going to be doing some singing
I will.
and stand up.
Yeah, you'll hear my voice and you'll be like, wow, that girl has a great voice. I want to see Alice in Wonderland. And
Exactly. Shall we plug in the Alice in Wonderland, the question?
oh, yeah. Again.
You forgot.
Does anybody know the name of the girl Alice in Wonderland is based on and her birthday?
You win 2
2
tickets.
free
You win
tickets.
2 tickets worth 48 yo-yos.
Was it Alice?
Full name.
Alice Wonder.
Whoa. It's for the audience, not for you.
I'm pretty certain I'm not going to get this right.
Does anybody know? Why are you so quiet?
Radio-
Just go for her name. Just her name. No.
Guys, first name and you win 2 tickets for Alice in Wonderland tomorrow. Worth 48 euros. Anyone? Names?
Alice Wanderers.
Good. I was going to say that.
But wrong. Good but wrong.
Any more names? Jamie.
Star of the show, but wrong.
Kesha.
Kesha. Yes! No, I'm just kidding.
So no one wants to win tickets?
No free tickets.
They want to, they just don't know. This is a ridiculous question that you've
We're
made
not
up.
going to get you up on
I
stage.
think it's a pretty valid question.
It's,
It's not
it's
that
so
hard.
difficult. that
Shall we make it
question.
easier?
Yeah.
Okay.
Was Lewis Carroll a paedophile? Yes or no?
Oh my gosh.
You win 10 tickets. Yeah. Let's think of a...
Okay, let me think of another question.
Live on
This is the one I had. I can't think of it. The other one that we had, I think it's harder, which is what is Lewis Carroll's real name?
We need to do... Because everyone's scared of answering us right now.
You're all
They're not scared, they just don't know. Look at them.
Look at all their
faces are
eyes.
blank. Beautifully blank, but blank nonetheless.
Their eyes are just like bright baby dolls. You know the baby.
Wide
you know, like
and
the,
shiny, so full of hope and optimism for the world.
Right. Think of another question then.
All right, I'm gonna think, but I need time to think.
Give her
I can't
time
just
to think.
like.
Ask.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give you time. Let's move on then.
All right, talk to Chris. I'm gonna.
Chris,
Hello.
Sweden,
Oh, there's nothing else in Sweden.
homeless.
Homeless. I was never actually homeless, but I did live without a home for quite some time. It was fun in some ways and not fun in others.
Well, funny in a way that you don't have to spend any money and you.
Well, I mean, you've always got to spend money on something, but as I said in the last episode that I was on, I was playing music with a couple of girls, so we were getting quite a lot of money. If you take a guitar to a tourist area in Europe, you normally get about 30 euros an hour. And
Busking.
yeah, busking,
Wow.
exactly. And if you are sleeping on the streets, then that's a very cheap way to live. And I do recommend, trying it out for a while.
Go to a nearest bank and.
No,
sleep
don't do
there.
it like that. Don't do it like that. Like the way that, like for example, there's one of our friends is called Rudy, and he slept in a bank.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite stories.
Yeah, but that's not how to be homeless. Go somewhere beautiful. Go to the mountains. Go to a lake. It's something like this. Make it into something nice. Don't make it
Yeah.
horrible for yourself. So,
I would
yeah.
love that. I
Yeah.
once asked my friends, like, we were on the metro one day, and I was like, would you ever sleep with a homeless person?
What,
And
like
they-
next to one or
No,
with
like,
one?
in one.
In
Like-
one. Crikey. That's what I call cuddling.
yeah, you know. And they were like, no, but like, what do you consider homeless? Like,
That's
what
the
about
thing.
someone that's just like traveling around? and, like-
Eternally camping is what I
Yeah,
thought about it
eternally
as.
camping.
Yeah, you just happen to be very far from your home and you sleep outside basically every night.
That'd be
But
cool.
one thing we did do was we had a little cardboard sign next to our busking which said "looking for a place to sleep." And most nights someone would offer us a place to sleep, and we
Wow.
met wonderful people, from all parts of the world, all levels of wealth and
Yeah, but you look
political
friendly. It's the thing. It's like if,
Yeah.
if Jamie did it, she'd be worried about getting raped.
Well, I did it with two beautiful girls. That's the thing,
Oh.
like you can,
Yeah.
as a woman, there's nothing stopping you. Don't let the world tell you you can't have these experiences.
Yeah, but you're
because you
asking
can.
me if I do it, do you really think someone's going to stop on the road and pick me up?
Yeah, I do. I absolutely
really
do.
think?
Yeah, I know they will.
Because people always say that.
Because
when you
people are
meet-
idiots.
No, people.
No,
like, first
no, they
time-
will, because people want to believe that other people are good, and that's one of the great
That's
things
true.
about hitchhiking. Is like you travel by plane or train or bus. It's an hour of boredom, and you hitchhike. Yes, there is suffering. You're in a polluted area for a long time. It hurts the body a little bit, but at the end, your faith in humanity is totally restored. It's a lovely way to travel, and it's free.
It's totally free.
I mean,
Totally.
I imagine that I've realized this about like public transport too. Like, not only are they trusting you to be a non-rapist serial killer, but you're also trusting them a lot.
Yeah, but it's about having a good judge of character and expecting people to have a good judge of character about you. And yeah, I've been picked up by some crazy people, but the fear was always in me. They were always trying to help me. That was one of the big revelations. It doesn't matter if this person is totally crazy or they look to me to be very violent, like skinhead tattoos or whatever. The reality is they're trying to help me, and the fear is actually unfounded. And
Yeah.
that's one of the good things, realizing that people ultimately want to help. And the ones who don't want to help, they won't pick you up.
Right.
Unless they've got like a bad motive.
Yeah, but you can see if someone's got a bad... Well, I mean...
And the thing is,
Yeah.
I think I'm a very positive person, so I think people are inherently good. Like, I don't think
Yeah.
people tend to have bad motives. No one's like out to get you that's a very like negative.
I've
Negative outlook.
never had a ride where someone had a bad motive. I've had some rides where I thought maybe they did, but they never did.
I've had some bad experiences experienced it firsthand in Malaga. When I lived
What
there for
did you
6
do?
years. I didn't do anything. It wasn't me. But I noticed, because of the tourists, we had a lot of foreigners come over, and they would prey on the English drunk girls and roofie them, follow them
yeah.
home, and it was a big, big problem.
It's a problem.
And that's what I've seen for 6 years, so this is where I don't trust. If someone's
Yeah.
nice
Yeah,
to me,
but
I'm
I mean,
like,
you go to... Well, you don't, but I mean, I imagine someone would go to a club with the drugs, with the intention, whereas you're just driving along to the next city. You don't have any bad intentions
Yeah.
automatically.
True,
You
yeah.
know, like you have to be a very well-prepared, bad intention person if you're going to do something bad to a
Yeah,
hitchhiker.
true.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I did have like my only couch surfing experience in Amsterdam. Oh,
No, continue,
Okay.
but be short.
Okay, my only couch surfing
You're already
experience in
sure.
Amsterdam, he like tried to sleep with me. He did all these moves that I was like, these are moves that he uses on couch surfing people. Like I could tell he was like, do you want a massage? Do you want to sleep in a bed upstairs? Do you want this? I was like, no, like I feel so uncomfortable.
To be fair, couch surfing should be called couch pumping because it's like
Yeah.
I know a lot of guys who have got a 100% track record
Oh yeah.
in sex.
I mean, he
Yeah.
was like, he messaged me like 2 days later. I was like, I'm sorry if I made you feel uncomfortable. I'm like, yeah, I mean, you were just coming on a little strong and I was already uncomfortable. And he was like, well, you know, it's never not worked before. And I was like, all right, Amsterdam, sir.
Not good. We're at the end of the show.
Oh.
We've got to do a few critics. We wanted to say a big thank you to Barcelona City FM for having us on tonight.
Thank you.
Barcelona
also-
City FM. Thank you.
Also, Craft Barcelona for allowing us to be in their basement tonight.
Yeah.
Craft Barcelona.
And a big thank you for Jamie Lerner and Christopher Drifter.
.com.
You have been
.com.
brilliant.
Oh,
You
I have a
actually-
website too.
Go and plug it in quickly. You will-
JamieLerner11.wordpress.com. I didn't get the WordPress out yet. Not
Are
willing
you,
to
are
pay
you
$10
shitting
a
me
month.
right now?
It's a real website.
So what is it, Jamie?
JamieLerner11, like the number.
Yeah.
.wordpress, it's a bloggy thing. .com.
I know what WordPress is. I'm a web developer.
ChristopherDrifter.com.
All right. He'll link to my page
I'll
on his
link
own
there,
website.
definitely.
This time next week, we have Chris Groves.
Oh, he's amazing. I like him.
Yeah.
And we have Rachel Area, who was, do you know who she is?
No idea who that is, but I'm
You've
sure
seen
she's great.
Anti-Karaoke in
Oh,
Barcelona?
that's one of my favourite nights in Barcelona.
That's her.
I love that.
She's coming on the show
Oh
next
my
week.
God, you guys are in for a treat.
It's going to be awesome. Right, we're at the end of the show. This is the Vincent Valentine Show. Thank you guys for attending, and we've got
Thank
stand-up
you very
comedy
much.
live
You're
next.
wonderful and beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
A red dawn will latch somewhere in the spiral depths. He expects footsteps. It will begin with footsteps, and then he will be lost. This is the calm. Jimmy sits alone, waiting.